That's right. He was apparently
It's
using
true.
the DJ voice. We were all taught back in
525,600
college doing the radio. It's the way to go to teach you how to do that.
525,000 moments.
Baby, are you ready to go live?
I am.
3,
I've been waiting for
2,
this my
1.
whole life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very happy PUV James Keeling. We're having a killer week. We're getting a lot of stuff done. This is my first Scotch of the week. Cheers to all of you.
It is here. I have this beautiful.
Cheers to you, darling.
I used to pretty much drink any red wine and say I didn't really like any white wine. And then when we lived downtown, short story that we didn't plan for to start the whole thing.
All right.
When we lived downtown, there was a wine bar opened up right across the street, literally like a 25-foot street from the office. And I joined the wine club right away. And one of the sommeliers there was like, I was like, really, I drink anything that's bubbles or anything that's red. I really don't like white wine and I hate Chardonnay. And she was like, can I try? She served me 3 Chardonnays, all of which were aged in stainless steel, and I love them all. I was like, see, if this was most white wine, I would drink it. Now I drink white wine.
I also have several.
Thank you, Lindsay.
I have several fancy beer drinking stories too. For example, I went to a bar, and he said, "Do you want a beer?" And I said, "Yes," and he gave me a beer. So it's very similar.
And you were like, I would like a Bud Light.
Very similar.
Actually,
yes.
you drink more than Bud Light, but that's the apocryphal story. Like, he just drinks lighter beers.
Mel was one of the people I met at SwanCon over in Perth.
Oh, yeah.
One of the highlights of my career, getting to go tour
Really?
4 stops in Australia. It was
one
amazing.
of the first things we did together as what became Empty Set. It was Dark Overload Media at the time. That was such a fun trip to plan. And then I planned 2 more trips for 2 more friends of mine who are also creators in Australia after that, having learned from him.
Let's get on with what we got getting on with. This is Virtual Vacation Day. We've got some vacation pics for you. We've got Junkie pics and Pupdates. As always, we've got a Crypt update. Not that exciting, but it is an update. Mm-hmm. And we've got a tour of the PUV Empty Set, which
you guys
is this house right here.
10,000 times. We're giving it to you. Last week we said that we were going to do it live. That logistically turns out not to be a smart idea when he's trying to write the Crypt outline. So we just videoed it. We'll do it at the end.
Matt Moretti, what's up?
Hey, Matt Moretti. If you guys have any specific questions, once we show this video, we won't necessarily answer anything because this is definitely our home. But if you have specific questions, particularly once you see our living room downstairs, if you have specific questions about some of the stuff that we're going to show, feel free to ask. It's always easier if you email info@emptyset.com, because here's a good example. I have a beautiful picture of Steve Rickeberg, who had a birthday last Wednesday, that he texted me while we were on the show last Wednesday, and I completely forgot about it until just now, so I'm going to show it next week. Email info@emptyset.
A says this is our home. This is not my home. I live in a penthouse that's gilded with gold, and I ride around on a golden escalator. So I'm pretty much dope. I got everything figured out.
Do you poop in a gold toilet?
I do poop in a gold toilet. And I have a
17
gold toilet paper dispenser. It's amazing, you guys. It's amazing.
I'm a girl who prefers silver myself.
Let's go with coming up. We have this coming up. That is the first weekend of April. That is April 2nd. And we have Steve Iceberg Rickeberg host the Junkies Happy Hour. It's a Zoom call. I know a lot of you are doing Zoom calls, but it's a Zoom call. You can get on and see a bunch of junkies and hang out. It's pretty fun. I will not be there. Sometimes is in and out.
I will almost assuredly pop in and out. That's this Saturday, you guys. And if you haven't done it, especially you guys in Western Australia, it starts early so that you guys can join and not have to sacrifice your family time and all that stuff. It starts early. That's why Steve does it this way. He does it for so long, and he is willing and happy to be on the whole time, or to have it manage it the whole time, so that people from around the world can join. I'll certainly be there on Saturday. I've missed the last one. I think I missed the last 2, maybe. I'm not missing this one because I really like it.
Author J.R. Murdoch is in the house. Hello, J.R.
Hey, J.R. Nice to see you.
All right, let's get rid of that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go through the basics. If you are not signed up for our text list, please do so. We send out a text probably once, twice a week, let you know what episodes have dropped, to let you know when SIGLERinPLACE or other live streams are coming. And also, very soon, we'll be able to let you know about new books coming out and all of that happy horse crap. It's really quite efficient. If you don't like getting a lot of email, if you do like getting email, boom, scottsigler.com/newsletter. Sign up. We just sent out a newsletter a couple days ago in which we announced the Crypt. Mm-hmm. We talked about the Crypt, and we talked about the new Predator book that I have out. And next the next newsletter, you guys, we will be announcing what the next podcast is after the Stone Wolves is complete. And once again, you can also get that information if you send SIG text to 855-955-5095. And what we're going to do with this is everybody who signs up for the text list is going to wind up getting a coupon all at once at some point when we get our new e-commerce site set up. And then once that's going, we'll announce every time you sign up, you get a coupon. But don't try sign up and then sign it out and then sign it back in to get a coupon, because we're smarter than that. I think maybe I don't know.
A couple of things. Ryan Winkleman in the chat room asks, so I've heard they're doing Sweet New Awards for podcasts. You are entering, right? I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I am quite familiar with the Webby Awards and I love them. The Webby, what Ryan is talking about is something called the Signal Awards. And the Signal Awards are podcast specific awards that are part of the Webbies. And if you're unfamiliar with the Webbies are like the Internet Awards. And they're just starting. And I'll be honest, this is a pretty late announcement for the Webby Awards to do a whole new category. And I don't think we have the time in the next 8 weeks to submit a whole submission.
And we don't really give a shit. Frankly,
we don't because there is also, he's an inaugural member of the Podcast Hall of Fame by podcasters who've been doing it literally, 17 years before the Webbies thought it was important to recognize podcasts. So
we're good.
We wouldn't deny it, but we're not going to work hard for it because we are part of the podcast universe and we're very, very proud of that.
Thank you, Jen.
And we are absolutely part of the internet, but we are comfortable with our piece of the podcast universe and the internet universe.
You know what? Maria says your makeup is gorgeous today, and I agree.
Thank you so much. Maria's my
smoking hot today.
very
I love
best friend in the world, but I appreciate it.
All
Thank you so
right,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, we have a tweet of the week this week, and this week's tweet of the week is almost not about me. I know that most tweets are about me. Everything, honestly,
is about you.
Should be about me.
I mean,
frankly.
It is kind of. Let's be fair.
But this tweet is. Let's go into it. I will read this out to you guys in case it's too small for you to see. Oh, yeah. Let's switch over to main. Oops, sorry. Tweet. I can't. Tweet. Damn it. There you are. This gentleman, his name is Rich Hosek. And he says, I'm following Scott Sigler's approach. I started a podcast where I am serializing the audio version of my novel that he narrated, as well as adding audio short stories every week, making it all available for free. Hopefully fans will buy the book too. That is Rich, again, Hosek, and his website apparently... Ooh, that's a tough one, Rich. You're going to have to work on that.
You can go to Written by Rich Hosek and I think probably find it.
Yes, but writtenbyrickhosek.castos.com. So hopefully my man can get a more accessible URL, but you can Google Rich Hosek podcast, and then you never know. Maybe you'll find something you like. If you check it, I have not listened to any of it. I do not, what's the word I'm looking for? Endorse. I don't endorse it. I don't not endorse it. I don't love Rich. I don't hate Rich.
But we appreciate
Rich hasn't killed my family. I haven't killed Rich's family. You know,
I feel like things got out of 525,600. I don't know what to do right
Anyways,
here.
check him out. And if you do like him or you follow him on Twitter, make sure you tell him that we shared it with everybody and we wish him the best of luck. And we hope he kicks some serious ass and gets to do, frankly, what we get to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why we don't give a rat's ass about the awards anymore. I used to care. I used to really care about a lot of awards. And it's just gotten to the point where, like, my life is so dope. I mean, it's,
and for me, I don't
give a shit. I don't care anymore.
Oh, you guys, my brother texted me. My brother's name is Jude Stenson. He's one of my very favorite people in the entire universe. He is actually traveling for work right now, and I think he's going to join in about 10 or 15 minutes. He's almost to his destination. However, he texted me to say my ETA is running a little bit late because I ran into traffic on I-95, but please make sure to give the Junkies a shout out for me because I love them. So I'm doing that. I also love my brother Jude, and when he joins, if he joins, please let him know he's fantastic.
Maria, could you email us about Ryan's I can't find it, but we'll talk about it next week if we get that out. Just email us a reminder if you don't mind. All right.
Oh, and J.R. Murdoch put a comment in the chat room saying, is a tweet of the week called a tweak? I kind of feel like we might try that out.
I have to check with my meth-consuming friends, see if that's allowed. Tweaker is kind of taken. Lots of action in the chat room. Oh, Steve Rickenberg says this guy's an established TV writer. So, all right, I'm sure Mr. Jose and I's families will be killing each other soon. Well, that should be great. Let's get into the books. We got a lot of books information. Oh, let me get this.
We got so much going on in this cast, but it's all so much fun, you guys. I'm so excited about today.
Jay Radham says it's not a twerk. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it is.
Here we go.
Not,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Jared.
we got some book news and some book requests. Let's go. Number one in book news is Graphic Audio, who does full cast abridged versions of my work. A lot of junkies really like them. Today, part 2 of Mount Fitzroy dropped. It is part 2 of 3. One obviously is already available. They sell them on MP3 CD. They sell them as downloads. These are some of our favorite people to work with.
Can I tell them why?
Yeah.
So it's super important for you guys to understand this. If you like the full cast, we love the full cast. If you want it in a different format, we want it for you in a different format. Here's how good these people are to us. They were ready to drop Earthcore on the same exact week that we were releasing Mount Fitzroy in audio only back in 2020. And right, 2020? Yeah. And we had a year of exclusivity with Mount Fitzroy at Audible before we could put out the print book. And we had actually taken that deal knowing that while we had a whole year of them advertising Fitzroy, Audible advertising Fitzroy with us, in cahoots with us, we would make money on Earthcore. And literally 2 days after we were going to release Earthcore, they were going to put out Earthcore in Fitzroy, they were going to put out Earthcore in full cast audio, which is brilliant. If you haven't heard it and you like full cast audio, listen to it. It's a brilliant job. And we emailed them and said, oh, you guys, okay, I understand. This is all like according to contract, but could you please wait? Because we made this deal with Audible knowing that we would have Fitzroy or Earthcore to kind of shore up. Please. And they did a great thing. They were like, sure, tell us what. How can we do this? And how can we make this work for both of us? And we worked out a totally equitable deal for both of us. And we are always going to be fans of graphic audio, not only because of that, still because of that. They have been great to work with the whole time. So if you're a fan of multi-voiced full audio drama, go ahead and check this out. Earthcore is wonderful.
See if we can play a little.
Fitzroy is wonderful.
Well, we're going to try. We have planes flying overhead. Let me see if I can adjust the volume here. This might be loud. Hold on. Here we go. That's very loud. Here we go. Okay.
Here we go.
Spooky audio. Here we go.
The winch hummed along. The thick black cable went down and down and down, uncoiling from the massive spools. It was just them and 2 miners in the small cavern.
This is ridiculous. Why are we waiting here?
It's less than 10 minutes for the elevator to finish lowering, then another 30 minutes for it to make the return trip, yeah?
Katerina looked to the winch operator.
Actually, I will tell you, this is the first time I've actually listened to one.
I've listened to them all.
I do my work, and I don't want to confuse it. Now,
that's my
point
work.
of order of the graphic audio. They're abridged.
Yes.
And they are full cast audio, and so you could hear the dramatic elements going on. I would say these are definitely not a replacement for my full unabridged audiobooks. But if you listened to, say, The Rookie or Earthcore or Mount Fitzroy, and you're like, you know what? I want it again, but I want a little bit different with that. I want the beat to pick up. And Tommy, can you give me the hi-hat right there? I want that hi-hat. Yeah, then they will provide that for you. So they'll give you the same story, streamlined, if you will, and in a slightly different version. So just so you know what you're getting into. There you go.
And I know from a lot of you guys, and I'm the same way, I have, over the last few years in the pandemic, I have listened to quite a good many books that I know and love because they're familiar and they feel good. And I actually have looked for graphic audio versions of some of the series that I love so much. And I wish that's how I've listened to all those. Well, that's my job to listen to anyway, but that's a good part of that. And if you guys are like, yeah, I'll go listen to it again, try that one. Maybe it's pretty good.
Let's talk about books, ladies and gentlemen. Now we'll talk about our books. What's going on? We have, first of all, episode number 27 of The Stone Wolves is up. This ends in episode 33, I believe. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. And yes, Rob, the big black cable in the mine story, of course. And we are going to announce our next podcast in 4 weeks. The only people who know are Steve the Iceberg Rickyberg, Ellie Press, myself, and Big John Viscara. Nobody else knows. I think you guys are going to be pleased. Hopefully you're going to be pleased. We will find out. Now, that means the Q&A episode is coming up. So if you guys have questions, particularly on the Stone Wolves, but also on anything Sigler related, you can email those to info@emptyset.com. And you also are allowed to send an MP3 question. Just record yourself on your phone and then send an MP3 to info@emptyset. Please make that question 30 seconds or less. If you go over, I will truncate you. You will be abridged.
Truncated.
You will be abridged, and then I will probably do a dramatic live reading of what you said in my own voice, and then pretend it is your voice and tell everyone you sound like this, which is not, it's not good. It's not a good look. So that coming up, let's go back to books and then other book information we've got. Check this out. Here we go. The Stone Wolves, you guys. Last week we asked you if you listen to it on Audible to get to getting on the reviews. We are at 319 reviews in the Stone Wolves. That's good. We want to get that to 500. So if you are an Audible customer, if you haven't listened to the Stone Wolves on Audible, go buy it.
Yeah.
Come on. If you have, please go leave a review. Now this is interesting. We started to look at our Amazon reviews today. Amazon reviews were at 66 on the Stone Wolves. Apparently we're 5 times the ability on Audible that we have at Amazon. So even if you've listened to it on Audible, feel free to go over and paste your review into Amazon as well. They're all supposed to sync up, but in truth, they never really do. And let's see, that's this one.
Yeah, we're working on it. It takes forever to get, even though they're both owned by Amazon, it takes forever to get them linked. So
here we go. And then Mount Fitzroy, we are now precariously close to 3,500 reviews, which is big boy numbers. It would be great. We would love that if you could get to it. So if you've listened to Mount Fitzroy over at Audible, if you haven't listened to Mount Fitzroy at Audible, it is the bargain of the century. For 1 credit, you are talking about how many hours? For 30 hours. 1 credit gets you 30 hours of not just of this massive awesomeness, but the glorious pillar of awesomeness that is Ray Porter, Darkside himself.
Oh, yeah. Darkside
Ray
himself.
Porter narrates it. You guys really got to check it out. For 1 credit, you cannot beat it. And then this is interesting. So over at Amazon, Mount Fitzroy has 30 ratings. Is that 10 times? No. It is 100 times, if I'm doing the math right, 100 times the reviews over at Audible than we have over at Amazon. So this stuff all helps in the algorithm. It helps Amazon automatically recommend books to people. So if you've not left a review for Mount Fitzroy over at Amazon and you have it Audible, please swing over to Amazon, leave a review. Let's at least get that up to 100. And then, of course, yeah, babe?
I was just going to say, if you have not yet purchased and you want to purchase a physical copy of Mount Fitzroy, this is a paperback volume. It's 880 something pages long. I think the worded pages are 871 pages. It's a giant book. Because of the pandemic.
890 pages according to Amazon.
Yeah, but those are front and back matter too. So I'm sorry. I think the content is about 871 pages. This is a print-on-demand book. And of course, Ingram, who does this, is good at sort of providing extra copies for Amazon or whatnot. Because of the pandemic and because of supply chain issues, we have had to change the price that we want to charge through Ingram Spark because we didn't even get our costs covered with our $24.99 price point so far. Mm-hmm. Amazon, of course, bought in bulk, so you can still get it for $24.99 at Amazon.
That's a bargain.
And it's about to be a $30 book. So if you haven't gotten it and you were on the fence, go ahead and get that paperback book if you want it for your library, and do it soon before they change those, before they have to reorder. Because until supply chain fixes itself, it's a more expensive book.
That is about to be the dirty 30. You guys want to get into it? Why it's still in 25s. Mm-hmm. What?
I will also say I have to go back. I have to go back. Steve Rickyberg, when the planes went over, had a flashback from our recording. He was like, oh my God, the planes. Because we suffer through that so much when we're audiobook recording.
I'll talk about that in a second. Here we go. And then Fitzroy, to give you some comparison, Earth Core, we're so friggin' tickled with these numbers, you guys. It's ridiculous. We're closing in the ballpark of closing in on 12,000 reviews over at Earth Core. These are great numbers. That is why Earth Core keeps getting recommended to people who've never heard of me. And that's why we keep selling that book. So again, if you've not left, gosh darn it, apparently on Work Kitchens. If you've not left a review for Earthcore, go do so. And then over at Amazon, we're very precariously close to getting to 1,000 reviews for Earthcore over at Amazon. So calendar it. Write down send yourself a text, put it in your Todoist, put it in your Remember the Milk, put it in your Evernote.
Put it in your things.
It's like you need 15 minutes to go write a couple of reviews at all these sites. Three separate reviews, place them the same in 2 different places. You'll make us happy. You'll be happy. Everybody will be happy. And that's how happy gets done, son.
Sir.
Is there any other information there? Yeah, okay.
It's time to ask Scott Sigler about the Crypt.
What?
How's the Crypt going?
Did we tell them we're doing the Crypt? That's a secret. That's a secret. All right, let's talk about the Crypt, ladies and gentlemen. Here you go, baby. You can do this.
Oh.
Yeah, see, J.R. Murdoch knows the business is like, holy carp, 12,000 reviews.
Holy carp is a thing I'm totally copying. I hope that's okay.
Okay. We're talking about the Crypt. Here's the update on the Crypt, ladies and gentlemen. The outline for book 1, first draft, should be done Monday. I will probably be working all the weekend long because I want to start on Monday. And I mentioned before, it will not be the same thing that you have heard before. It'll be very different. However, I've settled on so far 4 primary point of view characters, all of which you've heard before, but they will be under a different approach. Mm-hmm. So some of them, the crimes have changed. If you're not familiar with the Crypt, it is Australian space. Sorry, Australians. So at one point in history, England took like all the ne'er-do-wells and said, let's put all of these people that we don't want,
have an idea.
Put them over in this place, and we'll call it Australia. And then we'll never hear from them again, and everything will be fine. Turns out
out Australia already existed.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was
people
named.
there.
I thought it was put a sword in the ground like, claim it Australia.
That is exactly what they did, but
yes.
Australia already had people.
The Crypt is a military sci-fi horror story where service members in the Planetary Union Armed Forces, if you screw up, if you cowardice in combat, assault on a superior officer, dereliction of duty, all of these different things can get you assigned to this vessel, to get you stationed on this vessel, crewed on this vessel, whatever you call it. Mm-hmm. Billeted, I don't know. And then you are there for a 2-year stint. If you survive the 2 years, your record is expunged. You can get out of the military or you can go on with your career and completely start fresh. The trouble is about an 80% mortality rate every mission on this ship. So a lot of people die. So some of the crimes, if you've heard the Crypt back in the day, some of the crimes might be changing.
Mm-hmm. And there's a good reason for this. One, Scott is a far better, a more experienced writer than he was when he was first doing the Crypt. 2, so are all of those stories. Those have aged with us through everything we've experienced through the last 12 years. So some of them need to be addressed. But also, our job and his job is to write cool stuff for cool people. And if things change to make it a more cohesive story, you've seen that happen already in Nocturnal. You've seen it happen when Infested became infected. Yeah. Well, first infection and then infected. You've seen it happen where we change to sort of meet. Yeah.
No, look at Robin Taylor. Robin Taylor says, I hope my next Navy assignment is on the PUV James.
No, ma'am.
No, you do not.
I feel like you want to be a character on the Crypt, but I feel like that is terrible to do to you. You're a good human.
We had a couple minutes before we get to our tour. I'm going to talk about one of the uncomfortable things I realized when I was reading through it.
I have to make double chins for that.
Remember that the Crypt it came out 12 years ago in podcast. And since then, there's been a lot of attention brought in the world of fantasy and sci-fi to particular motivations for stories. So minor trigger warning, but when you say trigger warning, how long do you have to wait? Do you say trigger warning that thing and then you go?
That's enough time now.
So minor trigger warning. So the stories in the original Crypt were a bit rapey. They were a bit rapey. There were 3. Now remember that we had 15 different writers come up with a crime someone could either have done or been framed for to wind up assigned to the killing. And out of 15, 3 of them apparently thought that was a great story motivator. And these were good stories, and they're very solid. But now they're starting to resonate a little. Like, you can't have that many. I don't think it's a little too similar.
Right.
So we're painting a broader brush of crime.
We want to write a story. Well, he wants to write a story that resonates right now, and that's how you have to do it, right? Because we're selling to right now, and right now it deserves a re-examining because all of those character studies were quite broad and deep. They were good character studies. There's a lot more to all of those characters than maybe we got to see in those stories. The thread that these writers pulled out. So we're going to rejig some of those so that they're more in line with a more cohesive story. I would like to point out that Rich Kosak is in the chat room right now. So that tweet of the week, if you guys want to go say hello, he's in the chat room now. Thank you so much for joining us. How wonderful.
There's the man right there.
I love it.
Rich, there you go. We talked about your stuff. Maybe somebody let you know, and that's why you joined in. I don't know.
Maybe but I'm glad you're here. Who doesn't like that?
We gave a little bit of sugar. Threw a little bit of sugar your way, and this is very much a pod. Oh, there's Rich right there. This is very much a podcast enjoying audience. So, finishing up with the Crypt, and you guys, the amount of the outpouring of love for this story, for the Crypt, for the concept, and people are so excited to get this book one. This is why communication with a fan base is great. I knew we had something special with the Crypt. I think the Crypt will be the big. I think eventually the Crypt will get turned into a streaming TV show.
Let's hope.
I'm pretty confident that this is the magic sauce out of everything that I will do for my whole life. But when I talked about it, everybody's like, great, love it, love it, love it. But you guys haven't seen anything on the actual ship yet.
Yeah.
And to make a 5-book series, I can't just have an endless series of vignettes about the people getting assigned to it. I can't even have the ones I have. That's 120,000 words of vignettes. Can't do that for a book one. I need to give the new people who don't know about me a solid story at the beginning, middle, and end. So,
you need to give everybody that.
I think everybody deserves. Yeah. So we have several vignettes in book one. Some are pushed off to book two. Some are pushed off to book three. There will be other vignettes which are new, and then some of the people that you've read vignettes for will just be on the ship. And most of the people won't know why they're there. You will probably know. It's 5-book series. Got to get off to a kickstart. Yeah, babe, go ahead.
Absolutely, Reagan. Thank you so much for tweeting at Rich. It's so nice to have a collection of authors. We also have JR in here. We have a handful of people in here. And it's always nice to share this field when we can.
And because of the response I got from everybody loving the original format, I have already changed the way I was going to do things. So basically, I'm breaking this into a 3-act structure, which I don't usually do, but Act 1 is pretty much all vignettes, all background stories, all of the same mystery you guys enjoyed in the podcast of people getting into a lot of trouble and getting assigned to this thing that nobody knows what it is, including the people getting assigned to it, including the people who are assigning them there. Nobody knows what it is. It's that top secret of a military project. And you guys, so you get to enjoy that thrill of the mystery through the first, roughly the first 110 pages. We'll go from there. We also have in the chat room tonight, Chris Grawl, who is helping us. Author Chris Grawl is helping us a ton with the research, the setting up of the Planetary Union military. So this isn't Star Trek crazy fantasy sci-fi. It's not Star Wars crazy makeup, anything you go sci-fi, but it's not far from it. We do have a lot of real physics in this, but by no means is this story constrained by actual physics at all. What we're going for the ultimate gravitas and realism in is the structure of the military, the way the military lives and breathes, the way people in the service think and act, the way the military can sometimes be callous to the individual because it's about the whole, not about the individual unit. And Chris Grawl and Colonel J.P. Harvey and Lieutenant Commander Joe Root, I think.
And
Joe Root on submarines and J.P. Harvey on aircraft.
What was the movie we watched last night?
Last night we watched 12 O'Clock High.
So 12 O'Clock High was a movie that me personally in 2022 I think I might have seen before. I certainly knew the story. It's a Gregory Peck movie. It's famous, and it's about an airplane, not a submarine, but that's still fine. It's about an air unit. It was hard for me because things change since the 1950s. Things have changed. What we know about putting soldiers and sailors through combat has changed and all that sort of stuff. And so last night we watched this. Every night we watch a new submarine or warfaring movie right now as he's outlining.
You guys are marketing geniuses. What did it say?
Jude's here. Hi.
Somebody said Battlestar Galactica meets Oz. Rob said Colonial Marines meets The Dirty Dozen.
Jude said he'll be your drunken sailor expert.
Fabulous. We'll talk.
But last night I watched 12 O'Clock High with Scott, and
1956.
I got kind of weirded out, not because the story is a bad story, but because we now know so much more about human beings going through this experience. And even though they were trying to look at that experience, what war does to humans and human hearts and human minds, I just couldn't watch it. So I had to.
It got overwhelming.
Which was okay. He finished watching it, and I looked at TikTok in the background and hung out with the dogs, and it was great. And then I got to watch the end of it. But that's part of the reason that there's some rewriting going on of the Crypt as well. I think you're going to love it.
And there will be. I still have some decisions to make because I've been listening to. I cannot recommend this series highly enough. Hold on. Let me make sure.
While you're doing that, I will say, Mel, you stuck at home with a 12-year-old while your 8-year-old recovers. Goodness, I'm so glad you're doing that. I'm so glad your 12-year-old is still at home doing that. I'm so grateful you guys are all taking care of yourselves during COVID. But that's exactly why we're here, at least until June, because it's still not over. And I'm glad that you're leaning into us.
Sean, we watched Down Periscope. I have a lot of issues with that film. Yeah. The series that I'm talking about is called Crash Dive by Craig DeLuey. It is they're short books. They're 60,000 word books, but there's 6 of them, and they're all lumped together on Audible. And it's lights out. I love it. And then in book 6, in book 6, things get really, really ultra realistic and ultra depressing. And so there's a lot of the stuff we're watching, like A was mentioning about 12 O'Clock High. I have to make some artistic decisions. How into the weeds do I want to go? Like, you don't get, if you're watching Star Trek, there's not a lot of, PTSD and POWs and, village massacres in Star Trek. Like, it's just not in that particular show. Yeah. The Crypt is the more Stephen King horror, transcendental horror, combined with military sci-fi. So I've got some really tough decisions to make about, I want to thrill you guys and entertain you guys, but how realistic and gritty do I want it to be? All the way realistic gritty or some realistic gritty? So we'll figure that out.
So one thing before we move on, I will say we did watch Down Periscope, and in some ways Down Periscope was more productive for us because it's a little tongue-in-cheek. Well, it's a lot tongue-in-cheek, but some of the things that you see like on the bridge or things like that were very important. And it turns out I had no problem with that cheesy movie, but I did have I did have sort of an inability to watch people suffer in that other one.
Let's get on to Junkie Pics. Here we go.
Yes,
ladies and gentlemen.
You guys.
Let's get back to here, and then whenever you're ready.
So we got a whole bunch of Junkie Pics.
We got
to
power through this because we got. So we're gonna clip through it. We got 10 minutes to get to this show the video. Here we go.
So it is this week. Sherry and John here, who you see here, they celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary, their silver wedding anniversary. Congratulations to you both. Here's to 25 more. They did that by watching one of their sons win a regional robotics team qualifier to go to the national championship, and they watched their other son win his first flag football game of the season. So congratulations to the whole Hare family. This is my beautiful goddaughter, Monroe. She celebrates a birthday tomorrow. She is 6 tomorrow, and she's one of my favorite people in the world. So happy birthday to you, Monroe.
Okay, can I do this? Yep, there we go.
This is also another one of my favorite people in the world. This is Robin Taylor. She is in the chat room right this minute, and she just re-upped for 3 more years in the Navy on one of the Navy's MH-53 helicopters while in flight. Here's my favorite part of this re-enlistment. 1, I'm sure she made a good decision, and I'm super happy for her. 2, can we go to the next photo?
Mm-hmm.
Dolly, who is her cat, if you see that in the background, got a certificate of appreciation from Robin's commanding officer for being such a good daughter, Navy daughter. And I can't tell you how much I love this. This treating soldiers like humans when you can is such a beautiful thing to me, having grown up as an Army brat. I love it very much.
All right, now we're moving on to, this is virtual vacation day, which makes no sense to me. Yeah.
I will also say, so this is a pet in the Junkie photos, and we're going to have a Junkie in the pet photos too.
All right, here we go. Yeah. Now, vacation. Rattle them off.
Okay, so today is virtual vacation day. So I asked you guys last week to share vacation photos with me. This first one actually is not a vacation photo, but it counts anyway. This is Timothy Clark. Timothy Clark he lives in Alaska, or at least winters in Alaska, and this is the end of winter 2007 in Alaska. Tim spent a couple of decades as a wilderness survival guide, and then a little time as also a wilderness adventure guide. And he has a good ton of cool photos and cool stuff. This is obviously him on a dog sled in Alaska. But he says they're all interesting places, they're all interesting photos, and none of them are vacation because he's working. But I thought this was too good to pass up.
Oh my God.
So it's a beautiful photo.
That is a photo mailed from Pimp Central Avenue in Pimptown. It's just a great photo.
It's
great
awesome.
Photo.
Tim has been a fan since 2008. I'm so glad he shared this.
Jared Burdick says, thought it was a picture from The Empire Strikes Back. Exactly.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going backwards.
Who's this sexy girl? What's up,
We're going
girl?
backwards. I thought if you guys were...
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. If you guys were sharing vacation photos, we would share one too. This is a virtual vacation photo from when I took Scott to Palm Springs for the first time for his birthday last year. This is mid-November of 2021. COVID was in recession. And this is us at Dirty Bingo. Which was super fun. It was super goofy and super fun. And
if Joshua Loy is in the audience again, I apologize. I apologize. Someday maybe we'll share that story on this channel. Maybe not though. Maybe.
But this was literally maybe an hour before or an hour and a half before we drove back to San Diego. So Scott, it was a 2-drink minimum to get into Dirty Bingo, and Scott had to agree to drink all the drinks. So
yeah. Here we go. Next one.
Okay, this is Daryl and Jenalia, and I know at least Jenalia is in the chat room. This is them at Chichen Itza.
Nice.
In 2009, in December, right before the pandemic started. The pandemic, of course, started in late February 2020, and I'm so glad that you got to do this. It's also important to note, this is also for about 40 pounds ago between them, and I'm so glad that you're taking care of yourself in lockdown. I know that was hard for me to do, like to take my health very seriously in 2020 and 2021, but I'm trying to do the same thing. So I'm super proud of you guys, and I'm so glad you shared the photo.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, this is super fun, you guys. This all the way on the right there, right there. I don't know how to do this. Right there. There. That's John Vizcarra. You can see his wife also in the white over on the other side of the photo. John, in 2009, he decided he was going to drink 250 Guinnesses because it was the 250th anniversary of Guinness beer.
Hey, Jen Lundy.
This particular photo is from the Guinness distillery in Dublin, Ireland.
Where he drank the 250th.
Where he drank the 250th beer of his 250th year, or the 250th year of Guinness. He also, when he sent in this photo, we chatted back and forth about it, and he invited me to the 300th anniversary where he's going back to the Guinness distillery. He says he's going to be 89 years old. But he's going to do it again. Listen, if that's possible, I'm doing it too. I am doing it too.
He's not going to be 90 if he's drinking 300 Guinnesses. He's not going to be 90.
Only that year.
I know Guinness is supposed to be good for your health. All right, next one.
Okay, this is Mike. Mike is definitely in the chat room. He and his gorgeous wife are right in front of the Brandenburg Gate here. His wife is named Kelsey. They took a trip in 2018 to Europe for 2 weeks. They're Americans. And this is in front of the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. Scott and I had lunch almost exactly where this photo was taken in 2017. So I appreciate how monumental and wonderful it is to spend time and look at the Brandenburg Gate and see this moment in history and see that we've moved from it. And it's a gorgeous photo of Mike and Kelsey.
We had friggin' sat down and had delightful afternoon lunch in front of the Brandenburg Gate. So
and you guys will be happy to know that after we finished lunch and we were just enjoying the scene and we'd done all of that, he was like, do you mind if I write a few notes? And he took out a stack of index cards, and I had a second glass of wine, and it was great.
All right. So here we go.
This is my friend Shannon, who was in the chat room earlier, but I think she's gone now. And in 2019, in September, we went to Disneyland in LA together. And Shannon wanted to try every churro we could try. So we did. So up at the top. So she made this little photo collage of us trying the bride churro and the groom churro. But we actually tried like 17 churros. It was a great, wonderful, wonderful trip. And maybe next one? Do we have one more? Maybe
I think so. Let's go. Boom. And then we got.
And this. Oh my goodness.
This we have to do, sweetheart. We've got to.
Yes, we
got to go pounds of German beers. Yes.
So this is Sean Dyer. And Sean Dyer, wait, I have to see where it is. I love it so much. Oktoberfest in Munich, Germany, 2017.
I'm so jealous.
Sean says, I taught myself a bit of German and my pronunciation had to have been garbage. How I appreciate that. But we had a good time, even if we lost one or two nights. And he says, from left, it's Aram, Dave, me, and Ed. And you guys look wonderful. Clearly, you were having a great time. And from my experience going to Europe and being terrible at pronunciation, if you try a little bit, I think everything goes well. And obviously, everything went well from that photo.
I think that's it.
Is it?
Yeah,
that's it. Okay.
So now we've got a new feature. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to point out that Empty Set Entertainment follows all of the applicable laws. Empty Set Entertainment is not responsible for any law-breaking activity that will happen during the course of this podcast or will influence any other activity after this podcast follows. Empty Set Entertainment has full legal representation as a lawyer on retainer at all times and follows all the codes of the state of California. So weed's legal is what we're saying. Weed is completely...
Oh, I see what we're doing.
Completely legal.
Can I just tell them...
Yes, but
okay,
what I'm saying is I'm trying to truncate this when we get out of the video. But
exactly, I know.
Hit it. Yeah.
So last night, I have crazy things going on with my feet. I have a terrible shoulder. You guys know that. A lot of times I take weed before I go to bed. If you've been with us a long time, you know I can't take Ambien because it makes me crazy. So I take weed.
Oh my God.
Last night I took weed, and then there was a big loud noise in the middle of the night, and I woke up and I couldn't get back to sleep. And so I ordered. Oh, and my foot hurt. My foot always hurts. So I ordered shit on Amazon. But because I was high, I also ordered all this crazy tentacle shit. This is kitchen towels. I don't need kitchen towels. I have 50 million kitchen towels. Yet I ordered them for my home, which you're about to see. And you're about to see why I ordered tentacle stuff. Let me see the next one. Oh my God, that's a 22-inch big stuffed animal.
You bought
octopus.
This for the bed.
I bought it to put on our bed, which you're going to see in a minute. I was insane. Let's look at the next one.
I'd like to look at this for one more second.
Jiminy Christmas.
That's a giant octopus.
It's a 22-inch big octopus.
Your high ass bought for the bed.
At 3 a.m. and
right.
Canceled it this morning, I hope.
Well, hopefully we got in time. And then, of course, what's this, sweetheart?
These, as you will see, I have recently been planning on the patios, and I wanted apparently tentacle steaks, which I do not need for my herbs and vegetables. I canceled these, I hope.
Good.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
now,
thank God.
What we're going to do, we're going to try and switch to a new video. This is our tour of the PUV Empty Set. Of course, the Planetary Union vessel James Keeling, the PUV James Keeling, is the center point of the crypt.
Yeah.
The PUV Empty Set is this thing that A and I are in for the next 2 months as I'm in lockdown writing, only coming out to talk to you people. That's all I'm doing. So let's go to, here we go. Now I believe this video will start right
Tracy
away.
Shank, you're right. I need
Sweetheart,
to be
I'm
taken
gonna
away.
switch back over to here so I can control this. So ladies and gentlemen, you guys wanted to see a tour of the place. We have done cribs at all of our previous offices. We have not yet done a cribs here. So you guys get the peek behind the curtain. I mean, I know this looks like a very professional CNN backdrop, and it's as if we did, you know what? Sorry, we're not always eating on camera tonight. I apologize.
Oh, that's
we will
okay.
win no Emmys for tonight because we're not eating on camera. But here we go. We're going to now show this to you, and boom, it should start right up.
Here we go.
It's MTV Cribs.
Oh, come on in, Crib. Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting the world famous The MTV Cribs to show up. to look at my dope rap pad. So...
Listen, I know some of you listening now know what MTV Cribs is, but I also know a good many of you do not and are like...
We realized we were doing this. We've now done 15 years worth of MTV Cribs, and MTV Cribs was already a little long in the golden tooth when we started doing it, and they were down to like a whole next, like a third generation of rappers and artists. So we're explaining to you that at one point there was a service called the MTV, the Music Television, and upon this service they would play videos of people's songs. Now I know there are very few people in this chat room old enough to remember when they actually played full length 3.5 minute songs with video accompaniment to go with the music. They don't do that anymore. They haven't done that for like 20 years, you guys. So they also had a show called Cribs where you would get to go see,
Bubbles. Nice
23-year-olds who are suddenly worth $10 million out of nowhere, blow their money exorbitantly on crazy stuff, and MTV Cribs would share it with you. So now that you know what MTV is, it used to show music videos. Now that you know what Cribs are, we will continue with
I have to say,
tour.
before you start,
yes.
Yes, you guys are right. We're going to show our whole quote-unquote expansive place.
The compound. We're going to show the compound.
Many people love that there's Reese's dog bed is on the desk, and many more people love Reese side-eyeing me.
Here we go. Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. This is where we make the stories. This is my assistant, Reese Piece. She's great. And this...
Hi, Tiny.
She helps a lot with plot. This is my assistant, Biddy. She's more of a stress magnet is what she is. She's usually not a favorite, but Reese's up here. And this is where we do SIGLERinPLACE, which we are showing you guys right now. This is where I write. Oh, look what I'm working on right here.
So you guys can see in this photo what we see when we are talking to you.
Yeah.
Right now, we see what you see in this shot without the dogs, of course.
Okay, back to it. Here we go. And action. I should put that away real quick before you guys find out what's going on. Nosy bastages. The bigger monitor for research. And let's see. Oh, look, we'll show. I'm fortunate enough to have many leather-bound bases, which I keep up on the shelf. So this is also where I play. Now, at some point, you guys, I'm a bit of a schmutz magnet. I have stuff on my shirts all the time, stuff on the pants all the time. And at some point, you guys watch. We're not going to have a contest, but just see if you can pick up when all of a sudden I randomly pick up a bit of schmutz.
Oh, me too.
On my stuff in the middle of the goddamn thing we were filming. Here we go. Music. We use this computer for music, for video, for podcasting, for everything like that. Here are the microphones we use for SIGLERinPLACE. Just put these shelves up. These are very nice. I got a place to put all my Monster Funkos, many reference books, many other books, all kinds of stuff I've got to make everything work. This is a big binder right here, the Crypt. Very nice. Very nice. And so then let's take a look at the other room where we have much base storage.
Suave. Very suave.
Wait,
yes, that's a whiteboard on the pocket door.
This is where we store many bases. And we also sleep in here. But, mostly this room is for base storage. All the bases got collected over the years, of course.
There's plenty of room for a giant octopus plush.
There is plenty of room. You know what I've also noticed? There's room for about 4 more bases.
Yeah, for sure.
Our periodic table, because we're all about the science, ladies and gentlemen. All about the science. And here you guys get to see my whiteboard for Shakedown the Crypt Book 1. We decided to do this now before this becomes full of spoilers and plot information. It's pretty sparse right now, but we will get the whole thing figured out. So, now I am going to turn...
Do you want to grab that pup?
Oh, which pup? Are you speaking?
Yeah.
While we're doing that, J.R. Murdoch, just you wait. You don't have to pause it. Just you wait on the tentacles.
That's the little pet.
Yeah, we got choked up, bro. We're taking her downstairs?
Yeah, are we going to switch?
Yep. There you go. Just, we had all of the run of show worked out beforehand. We didn't do scratch first. We knew exactly where everybody's going. We forgot approximately 2 minutes into it, all that shit. So here we go.
All of it.
That's what we do.
The big guy says we need a big orange octopus for the bed.
We do not need a big orange octopus for the bed. You guys stop it. Down you go. Is that to me?
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, there's a pretty girl.
So, I'll walk you through the rest of the house to my favorite, the kitchen. back here.
These grandmas.
Hi,
This
Junkies.
is Grandma and Grandpa.
We did this. Photos of friends and family. You'll see some folks.
I would like to point out that my grandparents did this, both sets of grandparents, and I made fun of them constantly because they had so many frame photos in their stairwells, and I now am that person.
Yeah.
Faces, you know, some Siglerfest photos. I do believe that this is the largest exhibit of Bruce F. Press photography in the world.
It is.
Wedding photos, vacation photos. Some of you will remember the Siglerfest photos.
My favorite.
We will talk about this a little bit later. If you guys have anything that you really want more detail about and we can do in photo form on a future Sigler in Place, just send me an email, info@emptyset.com. I'm happy to do close-ups of anything you see. Why I'm saying this now is once we get downstairs, you'll see a little bit of what used to be the Hall of Fame at Siglerfest. So if you never got to Siglerfest, just let me know. It's okay. I'll take photos.
Alicia, stop it. Your hashtag's not going to work. Sorry. Photo in the whole world right there, you guys. My second favorite photo in the whole world. Love that photo so much. Now we head downstairs.
This is our front door, but of note, this is a limited edition print of Mount Fitzroy, as seen from Argentina. Our good friend Faye in New York is a camera person, and they sent a text. They were at a party in New York, and they saw that we tracked it down, and this was I think a Christmas gift for Scott.
Yes.
And then you might have seen this on Sigler in Place. It's a little bright, so we'll try and manage that. But this is the football.
Four generations of Siglers in football. This is me in the upper, the little one. Look for the smallest guy. Look for the smallest guy in the room. It's probably me. In the picture, that would be me.
We have our safety
Jason.
stations. As you know, we're very, very, very interested in safety and health during this pandemic. So these are our masks.
We gotta stay alive, brother. We gotta stay alive.
Step down, be careful. This is where I work now that we've left the lair of doom. This is also our dining room table, so we do the best that we can. But I work here. All of this stuff is new in the pandemic so that I have room to do all my shipping and have shipping stuff and all that jazz. That beautiful Junkie gin that we showed you on Sigler
yes.
Place lamp not too long ago.
I love
My good
lamp.
friend Amy Reed made for us.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a straight out of the. Is it the Rookie, or is that no Starter?
It's in the Rookie. Yeah, it's in the Rookie,
In the Rookie.
color insert.
Yep.
More photos to keep us company during the pandemic. And then this is my favorite room in the house. This is our kitchen.
What's this out of the sink, darling?
Oh, it's an orange kraken, of course it is. We have talked a little bit.
A surprised me with that.
Yeah.
And I think she was also like, I don't know if he's gonna like it. I'm like, oh my God, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And while we're paused, Rob Otto just added in the chat room that was where Mall Pigs came to life.
Yes,
So
it was,
that
Rob.
kitchen table that you just saw, Scott and Rob sat for 7 days in a row, literally 10 hours a day at that table. And then you'll see our living room, which is 2 steps away in just a few minutes. They sat for 10 hours a day doing that. And then we had some dinner and they sat in the living room and watched research movies to make sure that their script was great. It was such a beautiful experience. We're going to do it again this summer, but not here.
Someday you guys will see Mall Pigs. I guarantee you will see it someday. And
It's so
you will know
fun.
that table is where it all really kind of came to life. Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Boom.
About this on Sigler in Place, so I'm going to tell you about it and explain it to you in case any of you guys are also facing a big deadline and have the luxury of still being in a global pandemic. We've sort of decided that we're going to treat this condo as like the PUV Empty Set for the next 2.5 months or so while Scott's finishing his first deadline. So I sort of leaned into that, added a few little under the sea sort of touches, including the tentacles you just saw and those. And then this is a very, very small, very, very full kitchen. Again, we have a disinfection station. Didn't exist before COVID, probably will exist for the rest of my life. And then this is the cooking and all that jazz. You guys know what a kitchen looks like. This is the only other thing. This is a menu, and we're sort of treating it like a cruise ship, where he's going to...
Yes, we are playing pickleball this Friday.
He's going to kind of do his best to write because we have just one factory at Empty Set, and that's Scott. I don't do any writing, as you guys all know. So I'm going to manage the rest. Kind of make it exciting. Try to make all the...
I would like to point out that is a Frankenberry tiki on the stove, courtesy of
Courtesy of Dr. Daniel Baker,
Dr.
PhD,
Daniel Baker,
yeah.
PhD, also known
it's a
as...
tiki shot glass, also known as Dr. Silly-Britches.
Dr. Silly-Britches.
Before we started,
yes.
I will say somebody asked if I painted that. No, you can buy decals. Just look for wall decals, and there's zillions of them. And these are ones I found looking at. I thought I would have to paint them,
Michael,
but I am not.
There might be a theme, Michael. You might be correct.
I am not creative.
Also, I'd like to point out, not to toot my own husband horn, but the tiki Frankenberry sitting there on the stove, it's got some fresh picked flowers for my girl.
Often when I am sleeping in the morning, Scott goes and walks the dog. Sometimes you see the 2 pups, 1 cup dog walk, and when they 3 are on that dog walk, I often wake up to flowers.
That's how you do it, bro. Here we go.
Week's menu is kind of exciting so that he's not bored up there for 14 hours a day. This is our collection of magnets.
We're such grandparents at this point.
We're such grandparents. These are magnets of all the places that we've been to together, and a few fun ones. And then, of course, our favorite Sigler-in-Place photo of Jerry and Kelly McCarty from the 80s. I love it so much.
So good.
Let's see what else. Let me get this back from you.
And then finally we have the room where I do not spend as much time as I would like to spend, which is the living room. We've got all the books. We just got these. I'm only seeing, I already watched this video once, but I'm only seeing it now, like the panoply of stuff that we have done together, and including all the stuff that we've gotten from fans together is just, it's great.
Yeah, and I don't think I mentioned this during the tour. So while you're paused right here, I want to mention this. Below Scott's outstretched arm, we've showed you this on this show, but this is a thing that several of our good friends who are also junkies have made for us. This is a quilt made out of every Siglerfest t-shirt that existed. And Scott Pond made a t-shirt for the Siglerfest we didn't get to have in 2020, and that's also added to the beauty of that, and we love it so much. We put it there when we first got it to admire it, and we got it maybe a year ago, and we just can't seem to get to a point where we want to get rid of it because it helps us keep in touch with you guys. You know, this whole thing, this Sigler-in-Place, this career that Scott has, all of this is a journey that we make together.
Yes, there is now somehow magically schmutz on my shirt. When I checked my shirt for schmutz, I checked it before we started filming, and schmutz magically gravitated to my gut and just landed there like by gravity.
There were schmutz on my butt when I was walking down the stairs too, so it works out.
I missed it, which is weird because I'm always looking at your butt.
There
so
right
there you
now.
go. All right, here we go. Ready? Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. IKEA bookshelves put up, which are really tie the room together along with the rug.
The rug really ties the room together.
All kinds of Treatos and things that we've got from Junkies over the years, various mementos, various super cool things.
Going a little slow, but not as slow as maybe some of you would like.
So much cool stuff, man.
Used to be the Hall of Fame, and these are all of the foreign editions of Scotch.
That's correct, Mary.
Plants.
And then over here we have more base storage. This is Caramel Sunday. I did not introduce the bases by name, but this is Caramel Sunday. This is the Kraken's Les Paul. Mm-hmm. And then finally is Bartender. So we have a delightful. Oh, look at that nice sign.
I know, from my good friends Marie and Stephen. I love it so much.
Set of places for her. Reagan, right now the count is 14 bases. It's ridiculous.
Create and guitars.
Well, you have 14 altogether. Yeah. And make cocktail delights. And then I think the last thing to look at is out on the porch. This is Southern California, y'all. We get to eat out here every day. It's fantastic. It's beautiful.
So many green onions.
While Reese is usually hard at work, come here. This is what's going on down here. This one is usually wants nothing at all to do with work. She just wants to play all day long because she's just sweet. Sit in the sun. She's so good.
So that's kind of it.
Let me have that, and we gotta do it this way. We're gonna take a guess. We're gonna take a guess. That is our home and our studio and where we work and do all of our stuff.
And the PUV Empty Set for the next 2.5 months.
And the PUV Empty Set, it's about to set sail.
We'll
the PUV Empty Set, where the only way out is to have lunch. And
perfect way. That's exactly my perfect screenshot. So again, if you saw any things that you were curious about, feel free to send an email to info@emptyset.com. Ask for that. We may show it in photo form on a future empty or Sigler in Place, depending if it's a. We didn't show our bathrooms because who wants to look in a bathroom? Stuff like that. But if you wanted to see something, maybe send an email to info@emptyset and we'll take a picture of it if you'd like to see more.
If you're an audio geek or whatever, I can go more into detail on the audio rig and everything else, although that's pretty boring for all the normal people. You know, it's really only for audio nerds. But I think that wraps it up for this week. That was very fun. That is our home. I don't have it now. Now I have my normal face, but I had TV face there for a little bit. I had a little bit of happy face because it's a great place. Could not be more delighted to be married to this woman. It's wonderful, and sweet. She is the driver in making everything that happened in the PUV Empty Set, like hanging up my bases and getting all the stuff up and like all the kitchen, everything's great.
The tentacles were quite a surprise.
The tentacles were a surprise, sweetheart.
In the kitchen.
I adore you. I thank you for all the stuff that we have together. You are the best. All right, enough with the smooches, you sons of bitches. Let's get back to being serious about stuff. Ready, baby? Ready to close this show out?
I am ready to close this show out. So, like I said, if you guys have anything to share with us or any questions about what we just showed you, please, 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 for all those things, email info@emptyset.com. That's the best way for me to keep track of it. Obviously, since I forgot the photo of Steve that I'll show next week.
That's it? Yep. Okay, and we will be back on Wednesday, April 6, 2022, which is, real quick. Somebody asked if we're doing anything for Sigler Ascension Day this year, and frankly not, because we're just...
The PUV Empty Set sale already.
I would describe this deadline as waking up every day and getting a surprise punch in the taint every day.
Oh!
Like you wake up and you're like, what a great day. My gosh, the sun is shining and it's beautiful. There's no clouds. Like, God's got punched in the taint. God.
$2.
Punched in the
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So we're probably not going to do that because all of that takes prep work and that's time we don't have.
All right.
He's doing that and I'm doing tests.
We'll be back April 6, 2022, which is New Beer's Day. Baby, how do we celebrate New Beer's Day?
Y'all, New Beer's Day.
I have an idea.
Beers?
Email info@emptyset. I would like to know the worst tasting beer you've ever had.
Are you
and if you say Bud Light, you're excommunicated. You're out.
But if somebody says a beer you haven't tried,
if A has time to go to Bevmo and find said beer, I will sample said beer. But only the worst of the worst, ladies and gentlemen. Only the worst. Yes, you may suggest the Beast. You may suggest all of that stuff. Keystone. I don't give a shit. I'm in. Let's do it.
I actually think what you guys should do is suggest if you are not a Pilsner drinker or a light beer drinker, I think you should suggest
Kevin knows
your
what's up.
favorite beer. Your literal favorite beer.
Like this is the only comment Kevin has had all night long. Kevin is a beer guy, you guys. I said, suggest bad beers, and Kevin just little raised hand emoji. Kevin, we love you, man.
I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be a bad beer. It can literally be a beer that you adore because he's a Pilsner drinker.
Oh, Karen, thank you very much. It's very sweet of you. Thank you very much.
That's so nice of you. So,
appreciate that. All right, so yes.
So I will tell you the reason that it is New Beer's Day on April 6th, which is next Wednesday, is because the ratification of the thing that repealed Prohibition happened on April 7th. So it's New Beer's Eve, which I kind of love.
I love when people are actually posting in like, these beers taste bad in the chat room. I'm like, love it, love it, love it. Love all
what
the
I'm saying is
beers.
send your favorite beer and I'll pick a few and have him drink it.
Love it.
It's going to be great.
Ice House.
But here's
love
the
Ice
thing.
House.
Until next week when he's trying IPAs, delirium tremens, Belgian beers, Hefeweizens. These are the things you should send to me. The big guy, I'm looking at you. Beth, I'm looking at you. Kevin, I'm looking at you. Do the thing. Send me a smart beer, a good beer to try. He will hate all of them and I can't drink many of them, but we'll try them.
I got an idea that next week's show is going to be a literal shit show. There's going to be so many beers sampled by the end of the show. It's just going to be off the rails. Okay.
But until then,
yes.
I know you guys think we're done, but we're not done. Give me a couple of weeks and say that again.
Yes.
Until then, I need you to stay safe.
We need you to stay smart.
And I absolutely need you to stay science.
And for the love of science, read up on the current variant BB7X19. It's the TWAN19 that is going to kick your ass. Ladies and gentlemen, let's switch over to the main cam. I call it the main cam. And it's time. It's time for us to sign off.
Thank you guys so much for hanging with us.
I'm going to go have one more scotch because I'm done working for the night. We're going to go watch a submarine movie because it's what we do.
Because we're not done working for the night, but this is fun work.
And apparently there's going to be a lot of what you people think are bad beers, which I will probably think are awesome beers. And now you may all kiss off into the sky. Mwah!